Welcome to Fractional Scale Modelling. This is part 11 of Imai's Maru, scale is 1 to 350. In this part, I'm going to be carrying on with the rigging. The rigging's coming along nicely, it's just one or two bits and pieces left to do. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. I'm at the stage now where about 95% of the anchor points are on. There's only the back ones that are left to do, but I won't be putting them on until near the end. So the next part of the rigging process is to connect everything. So in the moment now, it's like an old jumble of thread everywhere, but this is easy enough to work out and basically untangle that mess. It's not really a tangle, but to pick each thread and start anchoring it on. And it looks like a mess at the moment, but as long as you know where each thread is going, you shouldn't have a problem. And like with all the rest of the rigging, this is simply done with making a loop, and I'm attaching it to the lower yard here, so you can see the loop. It's going to pop off now and again because I'm trying not to pull it too taut. You see the yard moving there. That's because the contact points is quite small. So you really do have to be careful when you're pulling it taut. At this stage, you don't want to anchor it completely, so you're not going to bind it to the yard arm. You're going to leave it loose, because when you put in on the opposite side, it will loosen off. So you want to make sure that you've got the facility to tighten everything up. So the rigging I was just pointing to there, these are all the ones that are going to link to the yards from the Lord up to the Royal. So just jumping ahead, that's both sides all on the yards. Again, they're not anchored yet; they're all loose because, as I said, I need the facility to tighten them up on the last stage. And this is what I'm going to be doing now. So I'm taking the runoff from the connection, and I'll be anchoring that down. Once I pull it taut, I'll be anchoring it with, once more, a tiny amount of super glue. And when I say tiny, I mean the barest amount. I'm just touching the cord onto the mast with the little bit of super glue here. And now with the excess cord, the runoff cord, I create another loop on that cord and bring it down to the next yard below it and make another anchor point. And I'll be tying that off and securing it with super glue once more. So this gives me the running rig going down the yards. And I do this for every single one, of course, just gradually working my way down until I get to the last one. And then the runoff with that goes directly to the rail that holds the shroud. So I'm just placing that in now. This can be a little bit tricky because there's not a lot of room left here. So I've got to thread the cord through a tiny little gap before I can anchor it. And once that's done, I can then pull it taut and then make my knot. So it's a simple loop knot, and then pulling it, and of course, once again, anchoring it with a bit of super glue to keep it in place. I'm trying to put the super glue underneath the rail itself, so any white residue you're not going to see. It's a bit annoying if you get a little bit of seepage and you can see it on the deck or something, so just be careful with that. So as you can see, we're pointing here, you can see it all running down the yards to the end part before shooting off down into the deck. So from the top right down to the bottom, all tied in, then shoots off down to the deck. The other loose ends, they will be cut off, but I won't do that until near the end. And then of course it's the same one for every single mast and yard. Just work my way down methodically from bottom to end, then get into the deck part, then tying everything off. And this is the stage where you start seeing the rigging come into full effect, really. So you can see all the different lines pulled taut now. All the excess rat lines as such are just waiting to be snipped off. And so once I'm happy everything's dried and taut, it's time to cut off some of these loose ends. So when I do this, I also use my hobby knife, I make sure it's a new blade as well, so I can get it done in one quick cut. So I'm not sawing the cord and making anything go loose if it's not properly attached. And then we come to the next set of rigging. This is for the after the shape for the jigger or spanker mast. These are the parts of the rigging that are going from the boom and the gaff up to the mast. Now there's two here that goes on, two on the boom, one on the gaff, and it's a simple process once more of creating your little knot and loop, attaching it, then drawing it up to the jigger or spanker mast. If you're not sure of the positions of that, you have a look at the pictures in the instructions. I'll show you exactly where they should go, but you can see the loop getting created for the two that goes on to from the gaff to the boom, and the gaff one then goes to the mast itself. And of course you can utilize any tail ends you've got on your mast when you've done the other rigging to run down this. Now theoretically you can do it all in one go with one massive long cord, but I wouldn't recommend that because you end up getting in knots and it's easy to lose tension along the way. So it's better just to do these little parts at a time. And now it's to the front of the ship of the bow and to the bowsprit and attaching these parts of the rigging. Now these are the ones I put in to begin with once the mast went on, so the very first ones. And like the ones on the jigger mast and everyone else really, everything else, sorry, it's a simple case of creating the loop, putting it on the bow, on the bowsprit, pulling it taut, then securing it with a super glue. And it really is as simple as that. Rigging looks complicated, but it really isn't. And it's actually easier when you have the dead eyes and pulleys and things like that as well. Not only does it look better, it's actually easier to control where you're putting the cord. But the main problem with dune rigging, I think, is if you haven't planned ahead and known where to put your anchor points and not realising that you can run out of room, you can still do it, but it just makes your life a lot more difficult to try and anchor everything down. But you get that through experience though. So if you have not done it before, don't worry if you're running out of room and you think, oh, I can't do it. Just persevere with it, and after time all that experience will come, and then you'll discover how it's quite easy to rig a ship. So I've just tied off the last one now. I've got a little bit of cut off to do, which I'll do once everything is dry, but you can see it there. It's all taut now, and that's the main rigging actually completed. Now if I put the sails on, I'd be adding a little bit more rigging, just where I'm pointing there on the capstans and things like that. But there's no need to do that because I'm not putting the sails on. The next thing to do is to put on the winches for the lifeboats. Now I always leave them till last because I have a habit of snapping these off, so I put them on last. Now they can be quite tricky to fit because of that. They want to swing around in the opposite direction. As you can see, I've already put most of them on and just putting the last ones on now, but they can be a little bit tricky to fit. They do sit in a little housing and they look easy enough. They can just be a bit of a pain. And the very last thing to do is to place it on the base. So I've got my realistic water here once more, and I'm just going to put a layer on the base. I'm not going to go too deep, I'm just about a millimetre or two, and I'll swish it around to level up, then place the ship in it. So while I'm doing this is where I'll end part 11. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds. If you subscribe to the channel, please do so. Make sure you hit the notification bell, that way you'll be kept up to date not only with this build but all my other builds as well, of course. Hit the like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.